taking the budget to the people is trying to unwrap the layers. Finance and budgets often can make people feel either intimidated or they think of it purely as figures and financial instruments. Really, budgets are about people. It's about how our spending decisions are made, what we're going to fund, and what are the issues that we want to invest in as a country. And if I can just share two quick vignettes in maybe half of 2 seconds, because we're only given 2 minutes so we can get to questions, is the fact that what you saw when you came in with Mr. Rendlesham Hayward using his musical instruments and talents is part of what we're seeking to do, which is to put the Bermudans back in Bermuda. Not just in terms of tourism, but as you look at the budget, what its framework and context is about job creation and also fiscal prudence. The other issue, to tell you something about what we have in Bermuda, we came here, Mr. Simmons, who's acting as master of ceremony, said we didn't have tablecloths. He went to a restaurant not too far down the road, and when they found out that it was for the government, they offered it for us, gratis. And I think that is part of the resilience and the kindness and generosity of Bermuda's spirit. Now, when I said earlier, budgets are about people, it's about investments. Think about that in the context of some of the decisions we've taken, particularly in Budget 2012. You have to decide what are the priorities. What do you think is important for us to invest in? And as you look at from a debt position, you've also got to look at the flip side of the coin. What should we be investing in for the people of Bermuda? It would have been an easy decision for status quo to obtain. What do I mean by that? To not tamper with existing payroll tax rates. Let the government's coffers continue to roll in $50 million, because what we give back by the payroll tax rollback is that we're going to be losing $50 million of revenue. Or one could have decided to turn it back a notch and lose only $25 million. But what you have to realize is, as we're going through some difficult times, what is important is to try and inject some stimulus into the economy. $50 million in terms of payroll tax relief. Also, we're injecting $12 million in terms of those small contracts which we're able to inject into the system, so that those who are doing work as small contractors, we have government monies available to do that. What else did we do? We felt it's important at a time when the country is weathering some tough times. Yes, it's easy to balance budgets. Simple. All you have to do is either increase taxes or decide to tread water and do nothing, or to cut jobs. What would happen to the people who, if we cut the public sector? Particularly if you cut some of those who are high paying and who have stayed many years in government. You certainly would be paying a fair amount in redundancy, and you see that in the private sector they're already having some issues rationalizing some of the existing jobs. So you don't want to add to unemployment, because all it does is mean you're letting people go out one door and come in the next to the Minister Glenn in terms of financial assistance. So the decisions that we've made as a government and as a framework are really about seeking to better position Bermuda for what will come, but at the same time make some sensible decisions as to how to manage what we have. And one of the promises I made pre-October was the fact that we would be trimming from our budget $150 million. We've done that with $90 million in current account expenditures. And what we've sought to do is, every ministry has had some cuts, some more than others. Clearly, finance has to set the lead, so we gave up 21%, and also Cabinet Office 17%. But it's been spread throughout, and we've looked at it from a needs basis. Because what you want to do is make sure that you also deal with public finance and the sustainability of public finance. And that's why we have our piggy bank. Your piggy bank is known as the sinking fund.
It's got a technical term, but it means that every year, based on the legislation, we give up about 2.5% of our gross debt and put it in the sinking fund, so that by 2016, we're able to pay down about $210 million of our debt. But also, you want to make sure that you trim your expenditure as you go on. And at the same time, if we hadn't made those efficiency gains across the government, we certainly wouldn't have been able to give up the revenue through the payroll tax relief. So part of trying to make sure we come out to you is part of trying to demystify the budget process. We've also set up a website so that you can go there with your questions, and more will be said about that at the end. But that is the contextual framework for the decisions made about Budget 2011-12. I think it's very important, as I said, in terms of debunking some of the myths, that we come out to the people. And that's why you have the array of fine men and women standing and sitting before you today. I've set the context. I'm sure there'll be questions as we go along, but now I think it'll go to the Master of Ceremonies